Good day to you, and thank you. Oops. There you go. Thank you for being here for another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana. Even if your name is not Tito, it's lovely to have you. And if your name is Tito, awesome. Oh, we are looking at Samatvam in the Bhagavad Gita, the idea of figuring out who you are and being that under all circumstances. We're going to look a little differently at Samatvam today. I'm going to be looking at chapter 7, verse 16 in any of the Song of Your Soul books. I've got this big honkin' embracing one. It's going to be on the left side. So we've been talking about some very obvious opposites that Krishna is telling his spiritual friend Arjun, that Arjun has to maneuver in order to really be established in himself. So, for example, whether somebody is saying Arjun is great or Arjun is not great, Arjun has to be like, you know, I'm me and I'm okay, and I can provide myself with that unconditional love and support to just be me, no matter what other people think. Often, what other people think of me is just a projection of what's going on inside of them. And then cold and heat, all kind, fame, infamy, all this. It's more obvious opposites. And today we're going to work with a subtle one that you can probably miss. Hey, the Blue Jay has a commentary. Huh, interesting. I agree. Okay, so we will chant verse 16 here, and then I'll talk a little bit about the nuance du jour. So in verse 16 of chapter 7, Krishna says to Arjun, O Arjuna, there are 4 types of noble ones who worship me: the stricken, seekers of knowledge, seekers of wealth, and the wise ones. So in this verse, my thought is that Krishna is not talking about his limited embodied form, but me with a capital M, the true self within, or what some of us might call God, the divine, supreme truth, whatever we see as being that ultimate. Krishna is saying there are 4 types. It's not just 2 opposites, but 4 types of noble ones who really quest for the self and really embrace the opportunity to be with the true self. The stricken. This can help Arjun feel better about where he is, which is racked with guilt and uncertainty. He's not the perfect warrior he always seems to be. Whenever we're stricken, that causes us to search for truth and meaning. Why? Why me? Why does this happen in the world? So we can respect that. Seekers of wealth. And that doesn't just mean material wealth, but perhaps spiritual wealth, the desire to feel like we have made an advancement in our personal development and that there are milestones we can point to along the way. But here's the subtle opposite: seekers of knowledge and the wise ones. Ooh, it's so bright. There we go. Hey, seekers of the light. So wise ones are jnanis, people who have realized. It's a tough nuance for English because it means kind of both wisdom and knowledge, but it's a complete knowledge. It's not book knowledge that you have to memorize, but there's some element of you can feel it revealed within you. And then so we have the people who are established in wisdom are searching for the truth, and the people who want to search for wisdom, the seekers of knowledge. So that's kind of 2 ends of the spectrum there. And for those of you who might be familiar with this term, the Sanskrit for seekers of knowledge is jignasu. And I find that interesting. I was initiated as a jignasu sannyas way back in the day in India. And that I was told that that title means willing to learn. So here we have the willing to learn and those who've already learned a lot. And both are on the same path to finding the true self, and to committing to being that true self. And the reason I'm pointing that out today is you might feel like, "Oh, I don't know that much about the Gita or spiritual literature or yoga or this or that. What use is this? I'm not good enough. I need to study more." No. What Krishna is saying is even just having the interest and the curiosity, even if you don't actually know anything, is fine. You are as dear to me as those who have knowledge. This can make us feel good. And also, it can help us avoid the pitfall of, I've heard this called spiritual materialism, where we have made progress on the spiritual path and thus we feel superior to others. It doesn't help our humility, it inflates our ego. Wherever you are, if you've just tuned in for the first video, if you've never heard of the Bhagavad Gita before, or if you've studied it, if you've been on this path for years, you are dear to your innermost self, to the innermost light that permeates the whole universe. You, and you're dear to me too. So before we do the practice part, today's practice is dedicated to Paul, happy retirement, and to Big Christmas. Thanks for bringing some presents early. Now we do a balance pose to help center us, brings our mind into focus. That way our contemplation is even more effective. You can sit, you can stand. Here we go. And you can make the balance pose your own. Maybe it's the first time doing a balance pose. Maybe you've done it for a long time. You're all good. Hands up. Switch sides. Wonderful. Now, 5 minutes of contemplation. Ooh, free cheeseburger offer. Fun. Okay. 5 minutes of contemplation. What brings you to the spiritual path? And can you see that no matter where you feel you are on that path, you are just as important, just as valued as somebody who may have been on that path much longer than you? 5 minutes. It's time to come back. Welcome back. I hope that practice was useful for you. We'll be looking at a corollary of this very concept tomorrow. I hope I get to see you then. Until we do see each other again.